We're talking juniors today on Kickko News. Our guest, Scott Gibson, is the managing director of Kitco Gibson Capital. It's an investment firm specialized in micro and small cap companies, otherwise known as the juniors. Scott joins us on the line from Vancouver. Scott, thank you so much for being with us today.
Hi, Daniela. Thanks for having me today.
Scott, we all know you're an expert in the junior sector, but when we think of the junior market, we think of volatility. So how do you manage risk here?
Well, there's a number of ways to manage the risk within the sector, and if you're committed to investing in the junior mining stocks like I am, the two main things I look at are diversification of our portfolio of junior stocks and then the management of the companies that you're investing in. In regards to the diversification of the portfolio, you can invest in, say, 10 different stocks, and you have to be willing to lose, up to half or maybe all your money on one of those 10. So having a cross-section of investments of a number of companies in the sector is a good strategy, because chances are you do well and potentially extremely well on the other 9, or at least a portion thereof. And that's the goal, is to try and have the diversification to help manage your risk. On the other side, management. What really is key is the companies that you choose to invest in. The companies that are managed by people with success and a track record and a history of delivering gains on both their share price and moving the company forward.
You almost beat me to the next question, Scott. What do you look for when you're investing in a company? You mentioned management, but what else? What are your top 3 things to look out for?
Yeah, management is definitely one of the key things. The other things to look at are the project and the type of project, what type of metal and where it's located, and then share structure, which a lot of people don't look at right off the bat, but that's very important. How many shares are out in this company? Is it 20 million shares, which is nice and tight, 50 million, which might be a fair bit depending on the asset, and 100 million or more? You're getting into a lot of stock that's going to limit your upside. I already touched on management, and the other one is the project. Obviously, for my company, Kickko Gibson Capital and the Kickko Gibson Gold Fund that we're set to launch, we look at gold as a predominant investment in the junior side. It's companies that are exploring for gold, but other metals that are of interest are obviously silver and copper, and you have to look at the type of metal you're looking at, what the potential is, the supply-demand fundamentals around the world, as well as where the asset is located. So those are sort of 3 things that I'd look at in terms of management, the metal and their location, and then the share structure. Which
areas specifically are you focused on right now, Scott?
Well, I really like the Yukon right now, and specifically gold in the Yukon. There's been a lot of success from Mike Williams' company, Underworld, and Adrian Fleming had really good success there. And then it's really brought in sort of an area play to the Yukon space. And there's a lot of upside in the Yukon going forward over the next few years. That's one place that I'm really fond of right now.
Let's talk gold price now, Scott. Gold, as we all know, had a big run in 2010, and now it seems to be pausing a bit. What is your forecast for the year?
Well, my expectations for this year are similar to my general expectations for every year, in that there's a seasonality in gold, sort of sell in May and buy again in Labor Day. So we've had a nice run from sort of September up through to December. There's been a bit of a pause here, and sort of 8 years out of 10, we'll have a run through to the March-April range and have a seasonal pullback. So that's kind of my expectation for gold going forward with the short term. In a bigger picture scenario, we're looking at a lot of issues out there that could negatively affect the price of gold over the short to medium term. Long term, I'm a big gold bull.
Now, Scott, what can you tell us about the Kickko Gibson Gold Fund? I know this is a new initiative you set up.
Well, what I've been doing for the last 10 years is investing in the junior mining sector, and I've been able to establish a very good network to be able to get access to early-stage financings, and that's really what Kickko Gibson is about, is investing in these early-stage companies with good management, with the right projects and the right metals, and looking for share price appreciation on those companies. And what we do, which is a little bit different, is we get in there and get to know the company pretty well and assist with advice in any way we can.
Finally, Scott, you're also a speaker at the upcoming Vancouver Cambridge House show, which runs January 23rd and 24th. What will you be talking about at the show?
Well, what I'm going to talk about is a little bit about my history the last 10 years and what led me to this point, and then get into a few of the companies that I'm a big fan of right now that I've invested in. So feel free to come by the booth at the Vancouver Investment Show. We'll have a booth there on the Sunday and the Monday, and be there at 3:30 in the afternoon. I believe it is both days. I'm also speaking at, I think it's 2:30 or 3 on Sunday.
Okay, Scott, thanks for your time today.
Thank you very much.
All right, so if you want to hear more of what Scott has to say, you can catch him at the Vancouver Cambridge House show, which runs January 23rd and 24th. You can register at the link below. Thank you for watching Kickko News. I'm Daniela Cambone.